Good morning. This is the Professional and Occupational Licensing Subcommittee of the Committee on Regulated Industries, and we're going to come to order. We got a couple of bills to consider today, and I want to say this to you before we start. I want to hear everything that we need to hear about it, and I don't want to rush you, but I do want you to be respectful of people's time and realize that we're on kind of a short fuse since we're going in early this morning. So tell me whatever you need to tell me. Just don't tell me twice. I'm going to recognize uh, Chairman Powell to talk to us about HB 1095.
I bring to you this morning House Bill 1095, fireworks bill. Very specifically, and I'll tell you exactly what was brought to me. One of the companies that's a major fireworks distributor in the state, they wanted to be able to do the temporary locations that are already allowed. They want to be able to use tents. Some of them use hard stands. And some of them, this particular company wants to use tents. And I thought about it since they use not-for-profits as fundraisers to sell fireworks for special events and holidays and the such. And they want to put in tents. And if you look through the bill, and we're going to be working from a substitute, which is LC 640044S. There's only one change, and that's on line 84. But if you look through the bill, on lines 26, that strikes a provision that prohibits tents, canopies. Then if you look on 56, same thing. Basically, as you go through it, where you see temporary, that's being stricken for the locations, and this would allow the tents to be used as a temporary location. On line 84, we did make a change there to be more, to clarify a little bit more. And let me see what the change on 84 was. It basically added that tents. That was a little bit more clarifying language that tents would be allowed for these temporary locations. Go through the bill, temps. Line 123 still specifies it has to be within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant unless the local fire marshal deems otherwise. If he wants to expand it out past that for whatever reason, maybe. They can do up to 10 locations. When you go through section 3, we're striking the temporary language again. 86 deals with not-for-profits, and the same over on 210. Basically, just in simple terms, what this does is that right now they can have temporary locations, but now we're saying that if they want to put up a tent to do these fireworks sales, and so be it. I'm familiar with that over in South Carolina, close to me. You have a lot of small groups during holidays. Fireworks sales during the normal times of year, I guess people buy them. I always thought it was an awful lot of money to be shooting off fireworks at holidays and things like that, but people do it. It's just a marketing ploy. There's a couple of folks I will tell you that I have had some objections, and I met with or just briefly passed by the retailers yesterday, and I didn't have time to, we do get a little bit busy to really get into it with them, which I respect them. But there's, I'm sure they'll probably say a word or two. I never could figure out what that was about, the retailers. But one of the companies that's in the business now, a nationwide company that sells fireworks, they had changed their business model a few years ago, and they started putting up hard stands when this legislation was enacted. This is another company that chooses to use the tents, if that's what they say. Me personally, it's a business model. And I'm not picking winners and losers particularly. We're not doing anything to the company that uses the hard stands, but we're saying that if anybody wants to use the tents, the company I'm talking about that raised an objection, they also have some tents apparently in other states. But it's been their move to go to the hard stands. Safety wise, I don't see a whole lot of difference. If a fireworks stand was to catch fire or something, to me, you'll probably have more debris being blown out than you would a tent. So, and that's basically what it does. Don't know what the objection of the retail association was. If they're here, I'm sure they're going to, speak about whatever their objection. But this is quite frankly just allowing for tents, for temporary locations. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the gist of the bill.
Members of the committee have questions of Chairman Powell. What is your number there? 18. Okay.
Chairman Paul, I think this is probably just to keep in line with the changes in the definitions, but does the change of the deletion of the word temporary on line 156, does that change the fee for anybody else? I notice that it's just is that just to make the definitions align on line 156, section 3?
On 156, that's just the same as we deleted temporary throughout the whole bill.
But I mean, that doesn't change anybody else having to pay more or less or anything like that. Okay, yes, sir. That's
To my knowledge, it does not.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we wasn't inadvertently making somebody pay more.
Thanks, sir. Okay, Chairman McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I was just wanting to see if I could add a friendly amendment that they had to use one of my funeral home tents.
I don't think the chair of the subcommittee is going to allow that, Chairman McDonald. Any other questions of the Chairman Powell, the author of the bill? One quick thing I'd like to ask you, is still true any requirements of the state fire marshal or even local fire marshals would still be in place and they'd have to comply with those?
They have to be permitted by the local governments, and that connects them to the fire marshals.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, let's see if we got anybody else who wants to say anything about this, and then I'll come to you. But I appreciate that because we do want to move on. Is anyone else here to speak on this bill? That we have somebody online. Can you get them live for us? Get them live.
Yes. Eric Clausen is here. Can you hear me?
Do you have comments on the bill?
Yes, sir. Again, thank you for the opportunity this morning to voice my support for this bill. My name is Eric Clausen. I'm with one of these fireworks retailing companies called Jake's Fireworks. We've been retailing in the state of Georgia for several years now. So very excited for this opportunity. As the chairman said, tent sales are probably the most common method of selling fireworks across the United States. So it's a proven safe method. The fire marshals, local authorities are typically very familiar with them. So I think we're just kind of updating things, hopefully to kind of fall in line with the rest of the country. So with the 250th anniversary coming up, I think the timing is great to allow businesses to expand hopefully a bit and prosper. Fireworks we think are one of those things that brings people together in this country, which we need more than ever right now. So it really ties in great with the 250th, and I think hopefully generate a little more tax revenue for the state of Georgia. So again, thank you for the opportunity to voice our support for this, and we hope that you'll pass it.
Thank you for your comments. With that being said, I'm going to recognize Chairman McDonald for the purpose of making a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that HB 1095 do pass.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Have a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes clearly have it, and your bill is headed to the big committee with a do pass recommendation.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the
Thank
committee.
you. Next, HB 1086. We're going to recognize Deputy Whip Chastain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee. Guess this is my first time before this committee, so I'm excited to be here. Glad it's Friday. And I'm
It's
gonna
a
be quick.
friendly group, I assure you.
I'm going to be quick. I have LC 630086S there before you this morning. And just a couple of comments and I'll get right into the bill, Mr. Chairman. This legislation will help protect Georgia firefighters from possible injury and death by requiring a simple low-cost signage on the buildings that are constructed with light frame wood or steel trusses, and I'll get into that in a minute, that support either the roof or the floor. These systems are known for early failure during fire conditions when exposed to high heat and have been responsible for the death and injury of many firefighters over the years in the Southeast especially. And many times we see cities, counties, states enact this type of legislation after a catastrophic event occurs. And I've got some of those written down here, but the Beverly Hills Supper Club in Kentucky, the Triangle Fire in Coconut Grove nightclub fire. There was a big fire in Hackensack, New Jersey, a Ford dealership that killed firefighters due to this type of light gauge system that failed a little earlier than a normal system would fail. We modeled this bill after a bill in Florida, passed Florida a couple of years ago at 118-0 to 38-0. We have lots of endorsements, Mr. Chairman, Georgia Firefighters Association, Georgia Firefighters, Fire Chiefs Association, the Fire Engineering Service. Obviously, we've talked with the Georgia Safety and Fire Division. The Deputy Commissioner and Commissioners are here this morning. The bill, first section of the bill, Section 1, we're naming the bill after two really distinguished firefighters in Georgia that passed away in the line of duty. Preston Fant, who just passed in September of last year in a warehouse fire in DeKalb County, and a gentleman by the name of Brant Chesney, who was a Gwinnett firefighter that passed in the line of duty several years ago. So we're going to honor these two gentlemen by naming this bill after them.
Would you suspend for just a second? See if I can get a little order here. This is very important. Let's get in your question. I know you might learn more by listening.
Thank you, sir. The main part of the bill is we're adding this code section. And really and truly, we're talking about these engineered, the I-trusses and light gauge steel. And those type trusses, especially in the floor, you'd think it's more roof, but those floor trusses will fail under high heat quicker than a normal solid wood truss. And all we're talking about in this bill is a small, and I've got a picture right here. I tried to find a color copier in the Capitol, but I'll pass this around. Part here you can see. We're asking for in this bill just an 8-inch, small 8-inch decal. You can buy those off of Amazon for $8 or $9. And and this is what they did in Florida. It's a red Maltese cross, and you would put that in a visible spot where these gentlemen think would be the best, but in the bill, but maybe by the door, maybe by where the water hookup is, but in a very visible spot, just to let the firemen, the first responders know that building, that roof or that floor could fail a little quicker under heat than a normal construction. It has nothing to do with building codes, nothing to do. These trusses are, in fact, good trusses. They were built. The ones we're talking about were built for good. They don't bow. They're engineered for that way. Also, if you ever walked across a house where it squeaks, these type trusses, they don't squeak. So that was some of the main reasons for these, but they're good, but they will fail quicker under intense heat. So we want to let our firemen, our first responders know that building, that commercial building has that type of system in it, so they'll be aware. And for people inside the building to be sure if we can get them out. That's really the bill, Mr. Chairman.
So what you're telling us is this is just a way to make sure firefighters are notified of the type construction and they would perhaps conduct themselves in a different way, so we try to keep them safe as long as we can. With that, I'm gonna recognize Chairman Ridley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm all for the bill. I mean, you've had discussion about this,
Okay.
but just in discussion here in this huddle a minute ago. I know you got it putting it on the front door and the back door, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actually, the bill's going to leave it up to the experts there, but yeah, we want it in Florida, they put it, I think most of the one went at the front where you could see where it would be visible, but I'm gonna leave that up to, the bill leaves it up to them to put it in the proper
Okay.
spot.
Okay. The only thing I was thinking is it probably we need to have one on the Knox box, the
Yeah.
FTC connection, and the outside electrical box. Cause y'all boys know, so when you drop a line, somebody's running in the front door and there's somebody over there trying to do something else. And if you're depending on the guy that's over there, trying to hook up a line to the FDC or the guy that's trying to turn the power off, he may not be able to radio before those guys are already in the
Yeah,
building.
that's right.
So that would just be one suggestion that I would make is have one in all 4 or 5 of those places, just for safety reasons.
Yes, that's a great recommendation, Representative Ridley. I think the knock box has already been brought up a couple of times. It would be a real appropriate place to place the decal.
And I guess that's something y'all could do in y'all's
Yes.
markups on this stuff. But yes, sir, that's all I had. And at the proper time, I make a motion.
Thank you very much. Do we have speakers on this? Is anybody opposed to this? To speak is opposed to. If not, I think you're about to get a favorable due pass. If we're ready for that, we can, if there's not anybody else to speak or not any further questions. We do have one more question from Representative Draper. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the bill.
You're welcome.
So I just wanted to understand, is the vulnerability with the light frame construction, the truss, is that vulnerable to firefighters specifically? Is it a fire-related issue, heat-related issue, or does it present any other vulnerabilities to other first responders?
No, no, it'd be fire, because that's the whole part of the bill is the intense heat. When the fire hits these particular type trusses, they'll fail quicker than a normal truss. So it would be fire.
So I would just suggest that whatever recommendation you take, whatever placement you make it, that's specified in the bill so that it's in the same place in every building, so that a firefighter doesn't have a situation where it's in the front of the building in one building, but in a different location in another building, just that it's consistent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good work.
Two things. One, I get what you're saying, but this is kind of to answer her question, to talk to you too, is that, every county is different. Every city's different, and they may have some different codes that they recognize. But some consistencies, you always have an outside panel, as Representative Ridley said. You always have a lot of new construction has Knox boxes, and of course the FTC connections. That's every construction has that, especially big construction. Something I wanted to mention too is the 2 people that you named this bill after, and
Yes.
that one was from DeKalb County and the other was from the county of Forsyth, Brent Chesney. And of course, I knew the family and everyone, so it was an honor to be able to add his name to this bill and to honor Brent and all the service he did to fire service, not only in Forsyth County, but also in Gwinnett. And at the proper time, I'd like to make a motion.
Chairman Ridley's already made that request, but before I recognize him to do that, I want to say something about the legislative process. It's obvious that Chairman Ridley has some knowledge on this subject. And when legislators come here from all over the state, from all occupations and professions, you can generally find somebody that's knowledgeable on the subject and help us through the process, so we wind up with a better product than we would otherwise. And I just wanted to make that point. And with that, Chairman Ridley, you are number 25. You're recognized for the purpose of making a motion.
All right, I make a motion that the bill do pass.
Have a motion. Is there a second? There is a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The bill is in the big committee with a due pass recommendation. Thank you very much for this bill. And with that, we are adjourned.